Welcome back once again. As we earlier said, that Egypt will never spare an effort to be able to support the Palestinian cause. Egypt has been sparing tireless efforts to be able to maintain security and back up the Palestinian cause and allow humanitarian aid to the stranded Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip during this genocidal war from the occupying forces of the Israelis against the innocent Palestinians, and also maintaining the historical rights of the Palestinians over the borders of June 4th, 1967, with East Jerusalem as the capital for Palestine, also reaching a comprehensive peace settlement, and also reinstating a two-state solution. And of course, all those points are very strict when it comes to Egypt taking a stance for the Palestinian cause. And of course, to shed more light over this very important topic, we're very delighted to be joined over the phone by His Excellency Ambassador Ayman Mushraffa, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine, fine.
Talking about Egypt maintaining the central leading role when it comes to the Palestinian cause and taking the lead role to stand for the Palestinian rights, also rejecting on and on the compulsive displacement of the Palestinians to be thrown out of their land and thrown out of the borders and immigrating to other lands, leaving their country to the occupation. And of course, insisting on the humanitarian rights, insisting for humanitarian aid with the international community like the United Nations and the WHO and all that. And also insisting on a two-state solution. How do you read the Egyptian stance, this very brave, courageous stance at a time the whole territory is going through conflicts?
Well, we will go back to history. Even before the operation of October, the border crossing was the lifeline of the Palestinian in the Gaza Strip. The border crossing was a place where up 800 trucks daily were going to the Gaza Strip with different kinds of support. Like stuff, like medicines, and support for the Palestinians to go to the outside world. And even after the operation of the 7th of October, Egypt didn't spare an effort to open most of her ports like Al Arish Airport, the ports, Arish ports, to let the international flow into the Gaza Strip. And even when the Rafah border crossing were destroyed from the Palestinian side to hamper the humanitarian flow to Gaza, Egypt airdropped some aid on the Gaza Strip itself to help the stranded Palestinian and the starving Palestinian to survive. Politically, I mean, we are still involved heavily in the negotiation between the Hamas, the state of Israel, to try to have permanent ceasefire, a sustainable corridor for the flow of humanitarian aid, so the Palestinians can normally survive the reach to the point of distributing aid in a safe and dignified manner. It has said several times through the foreign minister and through the president, through the president's negotiations, and after with many foreign leaders, that the only way is to find a two-state solution based on the 224-338 resolution, was the Palestinian state viable to live, and in the same time having Jerusalem east as the capital of Palestine. The only way, we stressed several times, that the only way to find a solution for the Palestinian problem and to find a peaceful settlement is to have this state solution, which up to now the Israelis didn't give any sign of being. Even most of the Israeli leaders from the far right stated bluntly that there is no state solution, there is no Palestinian state, which contradicts the international law and contradicts the opinion and the aid of the international community towards this cause and all relevant United States institutions.
Right. So what makes Egypt uniquely positioned to be able to maintain that status or that position of mediating those conflicts among Arab countries? I mean, compared to other regional powers, only Egypt standing still. Only Egypt is taking the stance to speak up for the rights courageously, to be able to talk about the historical rights, the two-state solution, stopping the displacement and all that. How do you read the Egyptian stance, and why is it so uniquely positioned and respected even by the United States, who respects the position of Egypt also at the same time?
Well, besides the factor and the geographical and the logistic factor, Egypt was always the main point of flowing of aid to the Gaza Strip, and at the same time the only point for the Palestinians to go abroad to study, be treated. So usually the international community and the United States understand the importance of it in such a conflict. Egypt has been historically very deeply involved in the Palestinian-Israeli struggle since 1948, throughout most of the war, 56, 67, 3, which, and even in the peace agreement, expressed that he would find a collective settlement for the Palestinian cause, and not to be and to treat the Palestinian cause the problem of peace, but a political problem which should be addressed.
Right. So how has Egypt's historical leadership in entities like the Arab League and its strategic geographic position, like you mentioned, influenced its diplomatic leverage?
Well, Egypt used many ways to try to stress Palestinian cause and to gather international support for the Palestinian cause. You are a member, a leading member and a founding member of the OIC, a founding member of the African Union, and many other international and regional organizations which have at times support historically the Palestinian cause. So we are the common denominator of any Arab move towards helping and upholding the Palestinian historical right for the homeland and their quest for independence.
Right. So, like we said, that Egypt has been a key mediator for years between the Palestinian factions also. How effective has Egypt's mediation been over the years, according to your own assessments, especially after the recent Gaza conflict?
Before, the operation of 7th October, we have mediated several and numerous fires between the Israeli side there. And all those negotiation and mediation have helped save the blood of the Palestinians and to see stability. But after the operation and after the operation of the 7th of October, we were the most important party with the help of Qatar, the presence of the United States, to try to convince the Israelis to have a permanent fire, a permanent corridor for distributing international aid. But each time the Israelis are changing the rule of the game, changing the conditions, adding to their conditions. I so that the Israeli government is the right-wing government. Their main objective is to continue the war and to let continue the war till there is, and we saw today what happened. The Israelis have always the behavior and the policy to keep the Middle East standing on so always and keep the tension growing in the area and go for peace. The peace was never enough of Mr. Netanyahu through his political history. So, I mean, this government would lead us nowhere. It will lead us to more blood pressure, more tension.
Right. Yeah. Yes, of course. Go ahead.
No, I'm expecting my.
Okay. So, Ambassador Mushraffa, Egypt have maintained an excellent foreign policy ever since President Abdel Fattah Sisi have stepped into office. Also, the soft power that has replaced the military confrontations. I mean, the foresight of a leader who have also took a leading role on many fronts and maintained excellent relations with world leaders, with countries worldwide and all that. Egypt have also succeeded in maintaining an excellent balance between its bilateral relations with countries, I mean strategic relations with the world leaders, and also respecting rights of peoples of countries, especially the Palestinian cause, refusing entirely the forced displacement of Palestinians, and also denying the rights, historical rights to their land and to Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine, which was, many efforts were made to be able to effect this particular issue, but Egypt stood very firm to that. How have Egypt maintained that perfect balance between the soft power and standing up to the rights courageously of other countries?
President Sisi is an advocate for President Sisi always in bilateral or multilateral was stressing the importance of having before a two Palestinian state, a livable Palestinian state, which would have the goal of putting this historical deal to build that will live in and will peaceful requirement which would be conducive to human development. But as I said, not a wide one. President Sisi is doing his best as a man who believes in peace, but on the Israeli side, and the behavior of not conducive peace. And the expression not in Gaza, South Lebanon, the daily incursion in Syria, and the attack, an attack inside Iraq through third element. So we believe that as the Middle East is on a boiling pot, and we do hope that the Israeli will consensus at the end of the day and start peace. But building confidence in such an would be very difficult.
Egypt has also played a vital role in brokering a ceasefire in Gaza. From your own point of view, what exactly is the diplomatic, were the diplomatic tools that Egypt used to build consensus and trust in such complex negotiations?
I mean, we know Palestinians for a long time, and we have to average the Palestinian different factors, a good relation to the Palestinian faction whereas belong to the mass of the PLO or PLFP. You know, you have very different factions, and you have an with Mahmoud Abbas, the chief of the Palestinian Authority. We are using all our tools in trying to find solutions, but the problem is not on the Palestinians only, it's not on the other, which, as I said, they are changing the rule of the game. They are adding to the positions daily, and their incursion, daily killing, daily targeting of the Palestinians doesn't help them to create an environment of between both sides.
Right. On that note, Ambassador Ayman Mushraffa, former Assistant Foreign Minister, would like to thank you so much. Now we will go to a short break and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.